Okay, I was traveling during Summerslam, so I guess I've kind of combined my Raw recap and a little bit of SummerSlam. So I really didn't get a chance to even read like the spoilers or anything, so I got to actually watch Raw having no idea who the undisputed WWE champion was. Turn on, I'm like, oh, it's Del Rio. So he cashed in his briefcase. What did we beat? Then I get to hear, alright, awesome. Punk won, he defeated John Cena with some mild screwing by Triple H not seeing Cena's foot on the ropes, but he might not have actually seen his foot on the ropes. It's hard to tell if it was a blatant storyline point or not, but it will become one eventually. And then increasingly more sleeve-like Kevin Nash came down and laid out CM Punk, and then Del Rio cashed in the Money in the Bank. Alright, so the bulk of Raw actually dealt with that. And his match with Rey Mysterio, and building up Rey Mysterio all the times that Rey's won the title. So I'll talk about that match dynamics towards the end. John Morrison and R-Truth had a Falls Count Anywhere match, which is good. That's right up John's alley, you know, the Prince of Parkour. And although it was a fairly solid match, I did actually like the ending. R-Truth grabs an office chair, and I'm thinking, wasn't even an office chair. John Morrison suplexes R-Truth onto the office chair. So the office chair is, it's the back of the chair to the back of Morrison. Morrison suplexes R-Truth. R-Truth's now in the seated position, then hits his running knee and gets a pinfall. Not bad, fairly decent. I kind of liked it. Do I think that's how you actually end this feud? No, I think this feud still definitely has some more footing to it. And then the Kevin Nash CM Punk promo was, oh god, that was good. You know, hearing Nash talk about, you should be thanking me for having guaranteed money, this, that, and the other thing, and Punk being like, you don't know what's good for business. Someone texted me and they thought you were dead. It's just your career that's dead. It was nice. It was electric. I was thinking, man, you know what? Nash and Punk are sick on the stick, but that match would absolutely suck in the ring. Nash has lost a lot of what made him good, and I have no idea if Punk can make him look phenomenal. But I think those two are going to have a much better on the stick confrontation than they will ever have on the ring. Period. There's also a match between Swagger and Alex Riley. Not a bad match. It was primarily built up to help the Dolph Ziggler Vicky Guerrero sort of angle. And all in all, not a bad match. And I like the Ziggler Vicky Guerrero sort of stuff going on the outside. What made it kind of rough was Swagger was going for the gut wrench powerbomb. And I don't know if Alex Riley actually got kind of hit in the head and he was a little bit loopy. But man, he just could not, he didn't help Swagger at all. Swagger had like raw power of a fairly sloppy looking gut wrench powerbomb. To Swagger's credit, once he had him up like this, he just raw powered him into it. It was pretty good. And the idea of Vicky Guerrero taking on additional clients, one being Swagger, could be pretty good. Tell me how Swagger has got a lot of talents. And I think last year, Money in the Bank champion, went on to become the heavyweight champion, and then became the guy who trained Michael Cole, and then nothing. Putting him in like a mid-card feud with Ziggler for the U.S. title would probably be a really solid match. I think it actually really work. And they've been toying with Ziggler going face. So Ziggler slightly going face against Vicky Guerrero, whose new protege will be, Swagger. Has a lot of good things going into it. They also did a match where Kofi Kingston and Evan Bourne took on Otunga McGillicuddy. Not a bad match. And they won. They didn't win the titles, which is weird because we so rarely see the tag champs actually defend their titles or even in a match. I thought it would be for the titles, but it wasn't. So it seems like, again, Kofi, right there at that glass ceiling, And then he's going back down to being the E's languishing tag division. Having said that, I was at a WizCon over the weekend, and I got to meet, well, I didn't meet anybody there, even though my hotel had Tori Wilson and Victoria or Tara, depending on what company you saw her at. So Sunday, when I'm at the airport at 4 o'clock in the morning, I got to meet Charlie Haas. And talking with Charlie Haas just for a few minutes, thanking him for all of his tag team work and discussing Ring of Honor lately, reminded me of two things. One, I don't support the indies enough. I probably should actually try to hit a Ring of Honor event because they're fantastic. And two, Vince has absolutely no idea how to do a tag team division. Just like when I go see Shimmer, it lets me know Vince has no idea how to do a women's division. Which brings me to the other tag match. Even Kelly took on the Bella Twins. I'm glad that Eve actually hit a fairly decent looking moonsault. And then Natalya and Beth Phoenix came out, the Divas of Destruction. There was this Divas of Destruction. You couldn't think of anything better. You've had the Brothers of Destruction, and it was canon to have the Divas of Destruction. Not like the Divas of Demolition or the Divas of Desolation, or I mean, literally, you have two strong blonde women. Could we just call them the Glamazons, or how about the Future, or I have a great one, actual athletes. You know, there's a whole thing, but Divas of Destruction. Don't even call them divas. Don't. Just call them female athletes. The rest are gonna be divas. Natalya and Beth Phoenix will be called your athletes, or your women's division. Not Divas division, women's division. So that match was meh. The Bellas, I really could care less about. Kelly and Eve Torres. That's pretty much like, I think that's like your whole Raw women's division, or Divas division, was in that match. And let you know how bad that division has really gotten. I mean, maybe they shouldn't have fired Melina. Maybe they should have actually done something with Gail Kim. I just don't know. I really don't. So now on to the main event, which of course was Rey Mysterio versus Alberto Del Rio. Match 5,000, I think. Not a bad match. You know, they do have solid chemistry. But I kind of grew tired of seeing this match on SmackDown, being a SmackDown main event, and now they're both on Raw. It's kind of aggravating. It's like they're just rehashing the exact thing all over again. Even if Punk would have retained, it would have been Punk Mysterio, which we've seen a million times before too. You don't do your talent switches and your roster juggling, and then go back to the same match we've already seen. It's a solid match, but they've feuded almost non-stop. It's either Rey's been injured or feuding with Del Rio for the better part of what, since Del Rio showed up, for the better part of like over a year. It's pretty much been Del Rio and Mysterio. Then that was done, Cena did the run-in, and I found it weird that he insulted Money in the Bank winners. You're not a real champion. Okay. So then, Edge is not a real champion who used it to defeat John Cena. Rob Van Dam's like major title run in the E. Well, actually, he used that to have an actual full-fledged match. And therefore, Swagger was never an actual champion. Punk was never an actual champion. Anybody who's won Money in the Bank, Miz isn't an actual champion. And that part I thought was kind of bizarre. And then saying that Roberto has no friends and everyone's going to be a target, looking at him as an enemy. He doesn't have any friends to begin with. Unless his ring announcer is going to attack him, he's got no friends. He has nothing to worry about. Everybody hates him anyways. Period. Was it unique to see the little bit with Stephanie and CM Punk? Yeah. It is different seeing, now that Vince is off the air, transitioning AJ in that role, and then having Stephanie show up as well. So let's be kind of honest. For probably about the next decade or so, that'll be who we'll see on Raw and on SmackDown. Two people who will currently be running the company in the near future for probably most of my adult life. Those two will probably be in some form or fashion running the company. But that's pretty interesting. So all in all, I wish I could have seen SummerSlam, but I was too busy being stuck in Dallas Fort Worth Airport for 7 hours and then relaxing and sleeping. So all in all, it seemed like it was an okay pay-per-view. From what I was able to read earlier today, the match with Christian and Orton seemed pretty solid. The Kelly Beth Phoenix match, the CM Punk Cena match sounded really awesome, but those two have been putting on fantastic matches, same with Orton and Christian. The rest of it kind of seemed less than spectacular, which is kind of sad. They had so much going on going into it that the two matches we knew were going to be good ended up being good matches, but everything else was just kind of there. So that was Raw and a little bit of SummerSlam recap. Hopefully they do something with Natalya and Phoenix. Have them actually, I don't know, start thrashing the lower quality diva wrestlers. And I'm hoping they do more with Del Rio, because Del Rio he got that rocket shot to the top. He just doesn't seem to really just be clicking. He still has that poor man's JBL Eddie Guerrero hybrid feel to him. He doesn't feel like he's really coming to his own yet. And he's already the Royal Rumble winner, Money in the Bank winner, and currently a champion. I think he's missing that one really good feud to really cement him as being a top quality heel. And I still think Mysterio is the feud for him. Maybe if he feuds with Cena and he's able to work a decent feud with Cena, he'll be much higher in my eyes. But currently, he's a poor man's Eddie Guerrero JBL hybrid.